You could be. You could become a mechanical engineer. But wait, those jobs are going off to India to save money for GE. You could become a financial analyst. But Christ, those positions have long gone overseas. You could get trained in civil engineering. But roads are just roads the world over, and foreigners do the same work without the half of your overhead. You could do software programming, but you were not born and raised in Bangalore, and Americans are too expensive to work in the trendy New Age India. You could get your MBA and go off into management, but all the lower middle managers got riffed and became so-called consultants or worked from somewhere else, far away in different time zones. You could study electrical engineering, but unless you get on somewhere in China, you would have to remain just an entertaining hobby. You could become a carpenter, but the Mexicans can live on half what you do, 8 to an apartment, and they don't even ask for no kind of stinking benefits. You could become a physicist and be laughed at while working at some unrelated and menial task. You could train as a policeman, paramedic, or maybe a valiant firefighter. But alas, you are too much of a hands-off, head-down, pencil-neck geek. You could morph into a salesman, but you're not that type of ruthless, grasping, self-centered swine. You could study to be a production engineer. Oh, but that's right, there are no more factories here. You could learn your biotech and genomes, but Big Pharma can save on R&D in the lands of barefoot people, to then spend more on marketing and their own lavish executive perks. You could become a professor, but why should foreigners come here to study just to move right on back home, where they can find the good jobs now? You could become a doctor, competing with immigrants to treat for corporations, your decisions monitored and approved by offshore cost accountants. You could take up the honorable study of the law and learn to hate yourself, like way too many others chasing ever fewer and even more dishonest dollars. You might become a petroleum geologist and help Exxon search for oil. But 6 skinny Indians will work for what they would have to pay just for you. You could bet on computer engineering, but the only jobs would be in defense, building more things whose only purpose is death and math destruction. You could study psychology and then work in tech support. But oops, your job now exists only in Romania. You could become a mechanic fixing bankers' expensive cars, but watch out for that foreigner who just agreed to work without benefits for half as much as you could live on. You could open up a little place to deal in the intimacies of your longtime hobby, and then compete against the Fortune 500, bringing in all their stuff from China. You might become a farmer to help feed the people and preserve our soil, competing against faceless corporations receiving massive government subsidies. You could become a dentist, personable and well-groomed, yet how many now can afford $150 for 5 minutes of your precious time? You could become a plumber driving an expensively loud and smoky new diesel, but your customer base is shrinking as their lives are being downsized. You might consider truck driving if your heart can take the extra weight, the nicotine, and the heavy doses of methamphetamines. You might like to be an accurate and competent staff accountant, but your job is on computer and further analysis is done in foreign offices. Maybe you could become a pure theoretical mathematician. You will do your job out of love and have no need for real food or money. You could become a priest and help them try to spread their silly nonsense. God certainly knows they need some kind of help. Oh, but you ladies need not apply. You could become a politician if your family has the background and your way was paid for at the best of schools, and you will sell out easily and often to those who pay for your elections. You could become an outright criminal if you lack the people skills for sales or simply sell long-term care insurance to the frightened, sick, and elderly. You could be a stockbroker, shouting loud and drinking hard, but the pump and dump to chump days may be already over forever. You could become one of our cadre of noble teachers and be laughed at and abused by the worthless offspring of the ignorant, yet not earn enough to be able to raise any children of your own. You could plan a career in nursing to nobly help the sick and wounded, maybe spend your life working with angry Filipinos, changing tubes and cleaning up under the old people, rotting in their overpriced beds. You could grow up bagging groceries or working checkout down at Walmart, for these are the steady, good-paying jobs of today and probably tomorrow. Maybe you could study 6 years to become a pharmacist and watch your job be put up on the internet to be done by computers in low-skilled contract labor. Perhaps you aspire to a noble career in journalism. Well, save up for your plastic surgery, hair implants, and reworked teeth, then practice your teleprompter skills in a mirror by the hour. You could train as an airline pilot by bombing primitive peoples back into the Stone Age, then work for a low-cost airline earning seniority for many years while trying to stay awake as the computer flies the plane. Make a career in financial planning and change your long-term advice every year and try to take people's money up front for telling them to assume risks that you will never share. If you are interested in good old-fashioned public service, think about a career as a legislative lobbyist, spreading cash, peddling influence, and focusing senators on your client's legislation. Imagine yourself as a powerful soccer mom. You could be chauffeuring tiny celebrities inside a posh minivan, cultivating reasoned opinions about a world you live apart from. Get yourself pregnant before dropping out of high school. Live like a hoe, then make money like one too. Wind up in jail for a long spell while your children grow up alone. Try your hands at the fine arts or letters. Better learn to suck up to rich old women and gay connoisseurs. Or maybe you could get a grant from the National Endowment. Just don't produce anything that's too liberal for your evangelical congressman.